Hey, what's going on, guys? Today, look at what we're checking out here from Plum. It's the Leynos mass production type. This was recently reissued from Plum. I have not recently at all. It's been a couple years, but I have reviewed a different Leynos kit. There's a couple of different versions that Plum has come out with in the past, and I had kind of mixed feelings of it on it at the time, just because it's a really cool, unique design as far as a model kit goes. Though I mean, like, it's nowhere near like the quality that we're used to from like Kotobukiya or Bandai, like the big manufacturers. Plum is a pretty small manufacturer, which explains why the quality is going to be not quite as nice, and also the price is going to be much higher just because it's a small production and everything like that. But I have a feeling that this time around I'm probably going to have a higher opinion of it, just because I feel like my mind has been sort of elevated as a modeler in a way that, I mean, I'm kind of more forgiving of, you know, the model maybe being not as great as a model kit. And so expect this review, if you've seen that past one, expect this review to probably be a bit more positive on this. That said, of course, the quality is not going to be as good as what you would expect from one of the big manufacturers. But again, I mean, just look at that design. It's really cool. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right, so taking a moment just to admire this beautiful box art, because like I said, it does look so cool there on the front. You've got this background image there with the glowing eye that looks really nice. And you can see that it's a pretty thick box, so we do have a fair amount of stuff in here, just a fair amount of plastic. We're here on the one side of the box, you can see the painted sample. Everything's gonna be in Japanese, not gonna have any English on here other than just like the main titling there, but you can see some more details and features of the kit, some of the weaponry, and just how this is gonna look once it's all painted up very nicely. On the other side, looks like this is a little bit about the game, so you can see some stills from the game right there, and then some more just kind of general information. This, I believe, is the list price for the kit, which would be 6,900 yen, so about, yeah, $65 roughly around there, if you're just taking the conversion of this. But then, of course, if you're buying it, you know, from overseas, it's going to be that much more expensive for all the shipping and importation costs and all that good stuff. But anyway, inside here, we'll take a look at that big stack of runners in just a moment. But first off, let's take a look here at the instruction manual. It's got like basically the same artwork as what we saw on the front of the box. Around here on the back, just the Plum logo on the inside. Here is the color guide right there for you. That's again all in Japanese, and I'm not sure which paint brand this is based off of, but just some pretty standard kind of brown and gray colors for the most part. It's pretty straightforward. Over here, more about the Leynos game, software, and then our construction is pretty short. So we've got our parts list on one page, and then just 1, 2, 3 pages of construction. So it's gonna be pretty simple for that. So first up, we are going to have some polycaps here for this 1/35 scale Leynos PC runner here in gray. The first half of the runners here are all going to be in this nice brown color. So here is runner A, and you can see there is a lot of really nice detail on here, kind of bolt and mechanical style detail to make it look like a very realistic looking sort of mecha, right? Runner B is some smaller parts here for like hand covers, some parts there for this version of the head. Runner C, we have 2 of. This is some parts there for like the arms, and I think like for the back and some other parts on there. Runner D, we also have 2 of. These are going to be mostly parts for the legs, I believe. So there's some more of those. Then for runner E, we're switching to our second color for the kit, which is just a kind of medium gray color. So this is going to be for all like the mechanical bits and everything. So there's runner E. Runner F, we have 2 of, some more gray mechanical bits. And then runner I is in a very slightly lighter gray color, I guess I should say. This is going to be for the weapons and everything. So there's all of those parts. And then runner H is one clear part there, which I think is for the eye, and that's it. Alright guys, here's the kit all built up. Now, not going to be anything too flashy in terms of the color scheme, as this has a very utilitarian look to it, not only in the color but also the design as well. And as expected, I definitely do have a much better feeling about this kit now than when I built a different version a couple years ago, as this is definitely the kind of kit that you have to come at with a different kind of frame of mind, as if you normally build like Gunpla or even Kotobukiya model kits, it is going to be a little bit different just in the way that it goes together and the work that's going to be required to, you know, get it all ready for paint and to paint the kit. It's definitely a bit more of a sort of quote-unquote traditional model kit, just in that it's going to require a little bit more work. But as you guys can see, it's a really cool design and has a lot of really great detail on it. So I mean, you definitely could get this kit and just do a little bit of minimal work on it and still have a pretty good looking finished product. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at everything. So as far as our accessories, a couple of them are just going to be the equipment like up here on the shoulders. Now these are modular, although you don't have any other options ones included with this. That's just like a 3mm hard point right there. So you could put some other different option part, something from Kotobukiya or Bandai option parts, something like that up in there if you wanted to, instead of what's already equipped up there. But then for our hands, we've got these closed fists right there. And then we've got this open hand for the left side and trigger finger holding hand here for the right side. Now that is going to be for our main handheld weapon here, well, our only handheld weapon, I should say, which is just going to be this big bazooka, which is very cool looking. The handle on this will move forward to there, back to there. It does kind of click into place for holding this up over the shoulder like that, and that should be pretty good. And that's really kind of all we have with the kit. You have a couple of leftover pieces, which are these parts right here, and if I remember correctly, these are actually parts that go up in the shoulder, so we're not going to use them with this kit just as it is, but you certainly could if you wanted to use those parts. Now just take a closer look here at the kit itself. That clear part there for the eye does look really nice, and just all that detail in there does look really cool. The antenna up here also very nice. Well, you are going to want to be careful with that. Obviously it's pretty thin. You may want to think about just like cutting that off there at the middle and replacing this thinner half of that with just a brass or aluminum rod or something like that. As you can see up here on the top of the shoulders and on some of these parts, you are going to have some seam lines here and there. Big one there on the backpack, and on these other parts of the backpack, these parts right here, which will move a little bit like so. And then these lower parts here, these kind of stabilizer thruster bits here at the backpack, you'll have seam lines down the middle of those sections there as well. There's another one here on the back of the head, and the arms, you're basically not going to have too much in the way of seam lines. A little bit there, visible one at the wrist, kind of just above the hand, and then here down on the legs, you'll have one on the inside and outside of the thigh right there. Nothing on the lower leg until you get down here onto the feet. These sections, kind of the top parts of the toes, there on the front, and here at the back you will have seam lines there. So like I said, it is a kit that is going to require a bit more work just in the removal of those seam lines there, but let's talk a little bit about the articulation of this. So the head will go up to there and down to there. I do kind of wish that you're able to point the head a little bit further down to get this to have a kind of a little bit more of a meaner look, but it doesn't go quite down all the way. It only kind of goes down to there. Then of course you can rotate that to the left and to the right, no issues there. It's basically just on a ball joint. This shoulder as well, just on a ball joint, that'll move forward and back, kind of up and down at the ball joint connection to the torso, and you're only able to bring the arm up vertically to about there, which is like 45 degrees, not too much, and then you're going to be able to rotate that there at the top. The elbow joint will give you a pretty good bend here at the elbow, not a full 180 degrees, but a double joint there will give you a pretty good bend. In the midsection, we don't have any sort of bend forward and back, left to right, just some rotation here between the top and bottom half of the body. All of the skirt armor is individually attached, so like the front skirts will move all the way up like that. The side skirts can move up, and then back around here at the back, they're just like the front skirts, they can move up and down like so. I mentioned that these parts right here on the backpack can rotate, but also these lower parts are just attached via ball joints as well, so you can kind of adjust the angle of those. They're going to pop off kind of easily, but you can adjust the angle and then also rotate them up and down. Going down to our hip joint, it's just a ball and socket joint. You have some rotation here at the top of the leg. I just take that off because yeah, the polycaps aren't super secure, as in like the polycap, like ball and socket joints tend to pop off kind of easily anyway. So there's rotation, like I said, there at the top. A single joint here at the knee is going to give you just about that much bend, not really too much there, but nice details around here on these parts. I did like this gray part underneath and this knee part, I did go ahead and glue those on. You don't really need to glue anything on this kit, but I just glued those on just because I figured while I'm handling the kit to show it to you guys, I'm probably going to knock those loose. So just to save myself a little trouble, I put a little bit of glue on a couple of parts here and there, but you don't really need to. The foot also just on a ball and socket joint there like that, so you can angle that to the front, back, side to side pretty well there like that. And then also the toes, so you have some bend at the toe, and then this section here as well, so at the main connection, and then the forward piece will move individually on those toe parts. Up underneath, you just have hollow detail up underneath the end section of the toes, but especially if you wanted to make this into like some sort of diorama build or something where you have it standing on uneven terrain, the fact that you can adjust all of the toes quite well individually like that will make for a pretty cool look if you wanted to have this standing on a rock or something, standing on some other fallen mecha or something like that. Anyway guys, on that note, let's just try a couple of poses here with this, and as you may guess, with the limited accessories and the fairly limited articulation of this, you're not going to have a ton of posing options expectations with this, and this kit, again, it's sort of, you have to manage your expectations. It's not really meant to be a kit that you're gonna, put in all these different acrobatic poses and super dynamic poses or anything like that. This is basically sort of like a very realistic walking tank sort of mecha design, where you're just gonna have it in like a cool standing pose or a cool firing pose with its weapon, something like that. Just maybe trying to recreate something from the game. And this is essentially a kit that you could go in and just do some panel lining on it, spray some matte top coat on it, maybe put on some waterslide decals for some markings, and it would honestly look pretty good just straight out of the box like that, with just a little bit of work done on it, some matte coat just to kind of make it look less plasticky. But I think that this is definitely a kit that's just kind of begging to be painted, and especially weathered as well, just to bring out all the details, and again, just kind of lean into that walking tank aesthetic that it has. So if you have any experience, painting armor models, painting tank models or scale models, or something in like larger scale, like 120 or 135th scale model kits of like scope dogs or machine Krieger, stuff like that, then I think this is going to be something that's probably right up your alley. Like I said, these kits are expensive, so not going to be for everyone, but I think they have a really cool look, really cool aesthetic to them, and I'm definitely looking forward to working on this one some more. And also the recently reissued Vulcan model from Plum as well, which I recently got, and I'll be building that one up and reviewing that for you guys in the near future as well. That one looks really cool. But for now, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about this kit? Have you guys ever built any model kits from Plum? What do you think about them generally? What's your experience been like? Or if you've not ever heard of it, or not ever heard of this model kit in particular, let me know your guys' impressions down in the comment section. And of course, if you guys want to check out some of these kits we do have here at USA Gundam Store, or just any other mecha models, of course, as you guys know, paints and tools, supplies as well, all that good stuff you can find at USA Gundam Store. The link will be down in the video description, so check that out. And if you guys enjoyed the review today and want to see more, of course, I would really appreciate if you would also like and or subscribe. That would be awesome. Thank you guys all so much for all your support. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day, guys. Later.